Hello there, and welcome to the Stage 1 video where I will be going through all the Stage 1 stuff for the course. It looks like the light is really catching my beard right now at this time of day. So first off, before I get into it, why don't I open up the critical path, take a look at where we're at. Excuse me. So under course and project overview, you will find the course outline and critical path. And from that, you can click on the critical path and it opens up this document. And you can see for stage 1, you will be working on it during weeks 1 and 2 of the course. And so you'll be spending this time doing course review as well as research and planning work. And you will be initially connecting with your remote team. So this is, a fair amount of time for you to work on this stage. The reason for that is that I know, the first week of class of the semester can be very overwhelming, getting reacclimated to, being back in school after the break, as well as, all the different information in all of your classes. So I understand that can be overwhelming. So, you have some time here just to kind of sit down, watch these videos, make sure you understand the expectations for this class. You can wrap your head around everything. Remember all that happened last semester in this class or in MMDD 232. Hopefully that can help you, again, stay on track. And then also, using this time to really sit down and think about what it is you will want to do for your project, and then creating a very strong professional proposal document and a very detailed and clear plan for this semester. So it is a fair amount of time, I would say, to have 2 weeks to do this stage. But I think that if utilized well, then it will be very worth it and help you at all future stages, because then you'll have the project determined and planned out well. So that's weeks 1 and 2. And then you can get a sense, of course, of stage 2 for weeks 3 and 5, weeks 3 through 5. Stage 3 for these weeks, which I will not say, and then stage 4 for weeks 8 and 9. So there is a lot of time spent on these sort of research and planning and pre-production, but using this time effectively will make sure that these weeks go by much more smoothly. Okay, so that's the critical path. Gives you a sense of where we're at, what's to come. But we'll go into the stage 1 area here on Blackboard. Access the overview. And so you can see you are currently in stage 1, propose and plan for your multimedia project. The goal of this stage is to research project directions and then propose and plan your own. The purpose being to research, ideate, and determine your project direction. Very important. It's a strong decision, obviously. Create a custom timesheet to use. You can just use the one from last semester, so it continues that sort of, storyline, I guess, of your freelance design brand or whatever it is you were working with. Develop a proposal and plan, obviously, for your project. And if you're having trouble with what direction to take, I'll also go through different ideas and examples and stuff to help you along the way. Key takeaway, this stage is all about laying a strong foundation for your project. The more time and thought you put into researching, ideating, and planning now, the more focused and effective your work will be throughout the rest of the semester. This is the time to explore your ideas, define your project's direction, and set clear goals before you dive into creating or designing. This is also a time for you to connect with your remote team, who will act as a support system throughout the project. So the breakdown for stage 1, it lasts 2 weeks, and in your submission, you'll need to have a timesheet, proposal, plan, and proof of your remote team connection, which will be a image, either a picture of y'all in person or online, proving that you all connected with each other and know who is in your remote team. And so that even outside of just the assigned peer feedback things, you can be connected with these people with any questions and such you might have about the class and your project, and bouncing ideas off of each other and all that stuff. Make sure to be updating your timesheet and your proposal as you work through stuff, just to make sure those documents are then updated for future submissions. And use this time to consider a project that is meaningful to you. You'll be working on it the rest of the semester, so setting a strong foundation now is very important. So I'll go ahead and get into the submission and work a bit backwards here. So you have the timesheet, right? Here's the template, same as last semester, but like I said, you should kind of have one of these designed already that you can use. The proposal document includes all the key information, right? The instructions. This is just a minimum structural template here. what you'll need to do is fill it out, obviously, with the information as it relates to your project, as well as updating the design of it to match the vibe of your project and make sure it all kind of ties together well. So use this template, obviously, as a starting point, not the final design. You can see an example of a successful project proposal here, which I also would have shown last semester. But you can see that it, includes all the necessary information, well designed, suits the overall vibe of the project, right? So look through this, right? There's a project summary of what they plan to create, the scope of it, detailing the specific deliverables, why it's personally relevant to this person, their career goals, with some included links as well to job postings, example projects, right, to get a sense of the different, or just to kind of communicate what kind of project it's going to be or what it might look like, the skills that will be developed, resources used, an overview of their plan, and sources for this document. Okay, so again, this is a nice proposal document. It doesn't look anything like this, but it includes the necessary information and it's well designed. So you will be working on that, and you will include all those things: project summary, the scope and goals. And when it comes to the scope of your project this semester, yes, it is only 9 weeks instead of 14, so it feels like it's less time. But again, since you're going to be having more time each week to work on this project, the scope can end up being similar. So keep that in mind. And again, since you have such a clearer understanding of the whole process and pattern of how this course works, you won't be having to spend as much time catching up on all of that. So I would say try to align the scope with similar to what you did last semester, if not beyond it. And then you can see as time goes on, obviously, if you want to stretch your scope even more, or hopefully not needing to scale it back. Again, you should have learned from last semester what it is that you ended up completing in that time frame. If you were overly ambitious, what did you need to cut back? And then how can you make sure that now this time around you plan a scope that actually suits what you're able to do with this basically amount of hours to work on it. Personal relevance, always very important. Why is this project relevant to you personally and your interests and passions? And then how does it align with your career goals, including a link in description of a job position or posting that this project could help you get, right? So, and I would say, yes, there might be overlap. You might have a personal interest, obviously, in UI, UX or something like that. But obviously you have other personal interests outside of just what you're learning in this program. So how can you bring them into the project? Include links to some example projects to convey what sort of thing you might be doing. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but conveying something about what it is you're considering here. What skills will you be developing? What software and technology will you need to use? An overview of your plan, right, with just sort of a brief description for each element that gets more detailed in the actual plan document, and then sources for this proposal itself. Okay. The project plan, here is the template, very similar to last time. You can see that the sort of critical path is broken down here in a condensed way, where you have stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and 4. And then you have each of those stages broken down week to week here. And so you'll just go insert tasks week to week to make sure you have a good progression of your project and think about what it is you need to be doing each week. Okay. So this will help you, obviously, as you move forward, and it will help you scope out the whole rest of the semester. And then your remote team connection and image, a picture of your group, either in person or online. You should have in-person classes with them, so you can connect with them there, get everyone together, take a picture, and you can access your remote team here using this discussion board. Again, this is a way to introduce yourself on Blackboard, but you can also, again, find each other in person. Obviously, there might be some students who don't all have the same in-person classes. If that's the case, then you need to make sure that you are connecting with your group and you don't get left out. And the groups this time around, they are different than last time. You might have some similar students here and there, but I used your projects from last semester to determine groups based around particular interests. So that's the idea. So there's like, a video and motion team. There's like UI UX teams. So the hope is that you'll be connecting with students who have similar kind of career ambitions. and interests. And so maybe that'll be helpful for y'all to all connect and get to know each other better as you move forward here after this class in your careers. Okay, so I'm going to get into the project examples and recommendations now, and I'll just kind of spend the rest of the video going through some of this. So if you access here, there's collaborative project opportunities as well as project examples and some ideation tips. In terms of collaborative opportunities, there is the Black Heritage Project, which there's a relatively detailed brief here about it, which you're welcome to definitely review in detail. But basically, you can create a multimedia project that highlights a notable Black Canadian or a part of Black Canadian history, and or anything related to this particular subject matter or the goals of this project and the initiative behind it. It's something that like all kinds of programs at Humber are contributing to. So you can think about what the MMDD contribution to something like this could be. Is it a video project, a motion campaign? Is it a website, an interactive thing? So think about that. This is a really interesting project that would be great on your portfolio, obviously. And if you're interested in it, definitely reach out to me and we can figure it out and make sure you can make something impactful, right? So things like short documentaries, a podcast or audio story, photo essay, social media campaign, all kinds of different stuff. So you can think about something creative, obviously. But I think that that's a fantastic project for you to consider doing. And again, having collaborative projects ends up boosting the project itself on your portfolio because it shows also that you collaborate, right? And you're able to do things like that. There's also a collaborative project with Dania Games in Denmark. It is a game design development institution. There's my colleague there, Jonathan. And each semester, a handful of game students have their games completed, or they're sort of like, they're like game projects basically. And but they don't have really any multimedia promotional assets or anything like that, like a dedicated website or much, visual graphics or social media content or things like that, or trailers always. Here, so you as the MMDD student then could provide that to them. You get connected with them on a Discord channel where you can communicate and work with them as a client. Humber did an official article talking about this project. There's me and an interview about it. They interviewed some students who have worked on this collaboration before, shows their work. Video interviews. There's Jonathan from Denmark. The Danish students also were interviewed. So it's cool. You can take a look at this or think about this project. The thing about it is that it is limited to the number of games available. So there are 3. So you can take a look at these different game projects. Think about if there's something, you feel like you could contribute. And again, you wouldn't be necessarily making like characters for the game or something that is in the game design itself. The game is completed. You are then just coming in to do something more promotional for it, depending on what they might need. So take a look at that. If you're interested, message me on Blackboard of which of the games you're interested in and a quick pitch of what you might create. And it says by Thursday, January 15th, which is actually kind of late. So sooner the better, just to make sure I can get that all set up for you and you can get moving on the project so that you don't fall behind. And only one student may work on each game, right? So opportunities are limited. There's also the Nebula Dawn escape room, which is Rob's grand project. If you don't know Rob, he's the MMDD program coordinator. I think he's your professor this semester as well. If you haven't yet, you should visit the escape room at 300 Birmingham Street at the Lakeshore campus. I think it's still there. It's cool. It's like a whole spaceship thing. Oh, this isn't it. It's a whole spaceship structure that you go inside and then you escape from. And Rob is always looking for student contributions. So you can think about what you could do to contribute to this project, like promotional stuff, like content for social media or a poster campaign for on campus, like graphic design, as well as if you want to shoot some video or something that could be integrated into the actual escape room itself. I would say you can contact me, of course, if you're interested in this, but also contact Rob. And again, you think you should have him as a professor, so you can just ask him too in your class, like, hey, I might want to do something with your escape room. What do you think I could do? He could give you some ideas, I think. So these are some collaborative opportunities that, elevate the projects in this class by making them collaborative, and those kind of directions are kind of already set to a certain extent. In terms of examples, right, you would have had access to a lot of this last semester, but I have included some student projects from this past fall in video motion, UI UX, and exploratory. So take a look at these. Again, see what your colleagues have done, what they've been working on. You would have seen everyone's projects, or a lot of projects at the end of last semester too. So giving you a sense of the kinds of things everyone's creating, what kind of scope are they working with, what kind of tools are they using, what kind of creative ideas. So, use that as an inspiration point for your own project. And there's all kinds of other previous student projects here for you to take a look at as well. Not to copy exactly what they did, but to get a sense of some of their frameworks maybe for how they approached it. For project ideation tips, just access Behance, look at projects on there, right? Professional grade stuff from agencies and stuff can be great to look at to see what they're working on, what they're making. You could create something similar to that. You can also use Behance to see not great work and to say, critique it and think about how can you make your work stand out better. So Behance is one way to do it. Just look at the work of other creative people. I also have this chat bot that I made. So if you're really struggling, you can use this. You can use it to help generate project ideas. And it also is supposed to provide links to previous student projects. It's not perfect at all. It's an ideation tool if you want to try it out. It's experimental, but, I'm interested in making a project, a UI UX project. And I like motorcycles. What's it going to say? I think we really stumped it here. There are no previous student projects in the archive that combine both UI UX design and motorcycles specifically. However, you're a great opportunity to create something original. You could consider something like a motorcycle ride planning app with weather, route, and service stop, a helmet interface UI for smart helmets, a maintenance tracking UX for motorcycle owners, a marketplace or social app tailored to motorcycle riders. Would you like to see other projects? Show me links to similar projects from previous students. Sometimes these links don't work, so this is a live. Unable to display. There are no archive students. Well, it's having a hard time with it. But you can see it started spitting off some ideas there. So, as always, if you do use this bot, you gotta say that you did in your proposal. And that gives me insight, too, if anyone uses it and if it's helpful. But yeah, include a paragraph discussing that you use the bot, any issues you face, and how much it influenced your proposal. This will give me important data about student use. So don't try to just get away with it using it. Like, I want to know how it works. Okay. That's that. And I would say that's kind of a last resort thing, too. My cat is locked in the room. So I think that is a sign that the video is ending. So that should cover it for stage one. But as always, if you have any questions or anything, reach out to me on Blackboard or attend a drop-in session if it's happening in the right time frame. And yes, good luck. And I look forward to seeing all of your grand proposals of the things that you will be making this semester. So awesome.